Hello, everyone. Welcome to the December Warrnambool City Council meeting, and thank you to everyone that's made the time to come in the gallery as well. Welcome. If everyone could please stand for the opening prayer and original custodian statement. Almighty God, grant to this council wisdom, understanding and sincerity of purpose for the good governance of this city. Amen. And council acknowledges the Peak-Wurrong and Kurrawa-Wurrong peoples of the Maar Nation, their land, waterways and skies within the Warrnambool municipality. We pay our respects to their elders past and present. Please be seated. Welcome, Councillor Ziegler.
Thank you, Councillor Blaine.
We'll move on to item 2, apologies. Are there any apologies, Councillor Arnott?
Yes, Councillor Willie Benter is absent today. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. All those in favour? It's passed. Move on to item 3, the confirmation of minutes. So do we have a move that the minutes of the scheduled meeting of council held on the 3rd of November 2025 and the annual council meeting held on the 17th of November 2025 be confirmed? Councillor Edis. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. No questions or anything? We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 4, the declaration by councillors and officers of any conflicts of interest. Councillor Arnott.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I've got a conflict of interest for item 7.1, the footpath trading policy.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other conflicts tonight? Well, very good. We'll move on to item 5, the mayoral presentation. And I'd like to start the mayoral presentation this month with a big thank you to all of the work and service that for all of your work and service to David Lee, who finishes at council on Friday. David actually started about the same time I did and a few the last term councillors. I think we all started the same week. We got elected and David got hired. And it's been really great having you at council, and you've overseen some of the biggest infrastructure projects over the last decade, including the library, the Reed Oval, the new boat ramp. And it's been on behalf of myself and the council, it's been a real pleasure to work with you, and I'd really like to wish you all the best into the future. Thank you. Would anyone else like to say?
Yes, I would.
Go.
No, whether to interrupt or not.
No.
Yeah, look, I reiterate what the Mayor said, David. Yes, you did start about the same time as us, and I remember as a very new mayor with a bit of a tricky situation. Back then you were extremely helpful, and I know I went to you for discussions many a time, and you were very helpful to myself and our councillor group then. So thank you very much for everything you've done, and we do appreciate all your work. Thank you.
Can
Go,
I just say? Yes, I'll reiterate Vicky's words. I always found you, David, as a trusted, steady advisor to us. When we all first come in and we're all brand new, and as Vicky has alluded to, Councillor Jelly, it was a pretty tricky situation. You were there to steady the ship and help us along, so thank you very much.
Councillor Ziegler.
As the third member of this party, I think that I'd like to endorse the comments of my fellow councillors. David, you've been a tower of strength for all of us, and always an easy man to speak with. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. So yeah, we do wish you all the best, David. A couple of other little ones. Black Friday, it was great to see so many down the street. It was a really good night Friday night. We had one of our listening posts there as well, which is a reminder for everyone that if you want to have your say on the council budget, we'll be down at Jubilee Park 3 till 6 on Wednesday, and out the front of the Ellensford pub 3 till 6. The listening posts have been going well. We've been getting lots of feedback. They seem to be really well received. And on Sunday, Councillor Edis and I were down at the Jericho Cup. And that was a really big day. And even though the weather didn't quite play ball for part of it, but...
Yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, it did. It was, for the period of the races, the weather was nice, and then rained as soon as it finished. So
yeah,
timed it very well. But good day indeed.
No, so that was good. So, yeah, that's the mayoral report done. We'll move on to item 6, public question time. Mr Mason.
No questions for tonight's meeting.
Beautiful. We'll move on to item 7, reports. Councillor Arnott, can you please leave the chamber? 7.1, the footpath trading policy. Mr Mason.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. The council has an existing footpath trading policy. This has been reviewed, and as a consequence, only relatively minor changes are recommended. The footpath trading policy is important. It provides an opportunity for us to have outdoor dining, but also activate our city streets with displays and outdoor dining. So I think the policy's largely been successful in its previous form. So recommendation is that you revoke the existing policy and adopt a new one.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Ziegler.
Thanks, Mayor. Yes, I'll move that Council revokes the footpath trading policy 2019 and adopts the attached footpath trading policy 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Reedus. Councillor Ziegler.
Not much to say about this one, as our CEO said. Mayor, there's not many changes made, and it's an essential for attracting interest and population to the CBD. It's just makes perfect common sense.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Reedus.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, obviously 6 years in the making in the changes here, but the footpath trading I think it's great for the city. It really activates the street, it provides some colour, and traders, for the most part, they need to maximise the space that they've got, and this allows them, tough economic times, to actually get a little bit more space to get some more people in, whether it be dining or put some more clothing on the street, whatever it may be. And for the most part, they're all complying with the requirements to keep the paths of travel in place. Do note the main change I see in the policy is in regards to fixed furniture the requirements for that, because although it does make it easier for traders to have fixed furniture, it also creates an issue with council about having to clean around it and make sure we maintain the footpaths to a neat and tidy standard. But yes, certainly happy to endorse the policy.
Thank you, Councillor Reedus. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, policy that's needed updating. It's a policy that we need to strike a balance for both traders and pedestrians, general public. It's especially important because of public safety and the clear guidelines for traders so they know where they can position their things on the footpaths. And as Councillor Eders said, great for them to get some of their wares or have restaurants, cafes, have people eat outside. So it now brings it that it's an equitable and consistent process for the operation of the footpath trading.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Ziegler, do you wish anything to close?
One final word, and I take heed of what Councillor Jelly has mentioned about safety to pedestrians. As an occupational therapist with a Vision Australia at one point in my incarnation, it was very important that footpath trading was cognisant of the needs for people with visual impairments, and while we've expanded this and want to see it happen, we need to be very mindful of the fact that there are folks who don't see very well, and we need to police those kind of impositions on the footpaths.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. Thank you, Wendy. If you could give Councillor Arnott. The vote was passed unanimously. Item 7.2, Fraud and Corruption Policy 2025. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. Council's existing fraud and corruption control policy has been subject to an internal audit review, which has made a number of recommendations for both improvements, but also making sure that the policy reflects the current Australian standard for fraud and corruption. It's recommended to Council that you revoke the existing policy, adopt the new policy, and note the supporting procedures that will be used by officers.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to move the recommendation that Council 1 revoke the Fraud and Corruption Control Policy 2023, 2 adopt the Fraud and Corruption Control Policy 2025, and 3 note the Fraud and Corruption Procedure 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Great action to take out of an internal audit. The fact we're able to refresh this policy, fraud and corruption is very important in council setting. We've got staff and with access to lots of information and lots of data and things that can aid in decision making. So it's good to have some controls around how we use that, what we do with that, and what we have up our sleeve to be able to not only detect but take action on items of fraud and corruption. Updates to the standard, as Mr Mason touched on, some clarity around fraud definition, corruption definition, some refreshing of the legislation, the policy, in line with some of those standards and guidelines that currently exist out in the wide world. So happy to endorse the update to this one.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Arnott.
Yes, look, I'll just endorse what Councillor Walsh has said, and I'll just add to that, an organisation of this size, it's clearly important that we have a clear and concise set of guidelines to identify early warning signs and any sort of corruption. And we've now got a short guidance on immediate crisis management, which I think is really important, and how council will cooperate with IBAC, Vic Police and other external agencies. So very happy to support this policy.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor. With the proliferation of antisocial media, we're very much a target for criticism from the public, and strengthening of the fraud and corruption control policies is very, very important, and it needs to be promulgated to the public to do all we can to assure them that this is a trustworthy operation.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Walsh, if you wish anything to close?
Nothing further, thanks, Mayor.
All right, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.3, the Leases and Licences Policy 2025. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a new policy. It's been developed to improve transparency, consistency and fairness in the setting of leases and licences for council properties. The policy seeks to provide and recognise that we need to provide some level of discount for community and not-for-profit users. The policy has been subject to consultation with some really useful and positive feedback provided, which has resulted in some changes and improvements to the policy. It's recommended that the policy be adopted.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council adopts the attached leases and licence policy 2025.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Jelly. Councillor Edis.
Thank you. A good policy to have. Like, there's been many tenure types that council have over the many years, and a lot of them in previous years have been long-standing, which have been done on a handshake or an agreement that hasn't been put in writing. So this is a great policy because it provides clarity and transparency onto all the different organisation types, whether they be sporting organisations, not-for-profits, airports, and it gives a fair and accurate measure of market rates applied to each category of tenant. So we're actually really drilling down into what organisation can afford what, whether they be commercial or not-for-profit. And I think the other really important part of this policy is it provides the maintenance responsibilities in what the tenant's responsible for and what the council is. So there can be no disagreements. Everyone's fully aware of what their responsibilities are when they engage with the council.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Councillor Jelly.
Yes, as CEO said, 2 weeks of community consultation with many of council's existing tenants putting forward their views, which is really good, really positive for them to get involved and tell us what they think, because they're the ones with the leases and tenancies. This, for many years, there's not been any clear policy at all, and obviously led to each lease licence being made individually, and so many inconsistencies have occurred. And as Councillor Edis said, this will now bring into line using the guidelines so that this process is now fair and transparent, and not like in the days gone by where an individual in council might have made the decision on a handshake or a, some favouritism. Those days are gone, and they should be. So this brings everything into line, and I think it's a really positive policy to have.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Walsh?
Thanks, Mayor. Just want to echo the comments of both Councillor Edis and Councillor Jelly, and just really call out that this is a really responsible approach. It balances, income and expenses around the way that we actually lease out these properties. There's some really good, clear guidelines around it, so I think it's a really, really good approach. And, the quicker we can do away with some of these handshake agreements, the better it puts us in a much better position financially. And there's still means at which we can support community organisations to prosper as well. So, yeah, really happy with this one.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Ziegler?
Yeah, two things stand out for me with this. The first is that, as Councillor Edis said, it offers transparency to the process. And the second thing is that all organisations seeking arrangements with council for licences and leases are playing on an equal level playing ground.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. And look, I'd just like to add, I think this whole thing, and everyone's touched on it, it's about fairness and equity across all council assets, and that's what this policy, that's what it shows. And as Councillor Edis and Councillor Jelly both said about, handshake agreements, peppercorn leases and things, that this here is, what is going to be guiding all our leasing going forward. And it was really great to see, so every single licence and leaseholder was written to in the process when we were doing the consultation to give their feedback, and that really has shaped this policy as well to make sure that it fits for all the different organisations that are there. So as leases come up, this will ensure that there will be fair costing, and as Councillor Edis touched on, the responsibilities of what is council's responsibility and the responsibility of the tenant are clear, they'll be in black and white. Councillor Edis, do you wish to add anything to close?
No, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. We'll move on to item 7.4, the active warrantable strategy. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. The previous active warrantable strategy has been a really important document for the City of Warrnambool, because it's helped guide the development of really important recreation and open space areas. A new strategy has been prepared and again has been subject to a really good consultation process that provided feedback that has meant that we've been able to amend and improve the document. I'm really confident the new strategy will guide future investment and improvement in our recreational spaces, and our recommendation is that you endorse the strategy.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to recommend that Council endorses the active warrantable strategy 25 to 2035 and preparation of the implementation plan and annual action plan.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. Councillor Arnott.
Thank you. Physical activity and open space play a vital role in Warrnambool, and having an active strategy is crucial for council because it provides clarity, direction and accountability. An active strategy gives our council clear direction and helps us make decisions based on real community needs. It ensures we use our limited resources wisely by prioritising the projects that deliver the most value. It also builds trust by showing residents what we're working toward and how we're tracking. A proactive plan supports growth, helps us attract investment, improve services and strengthens community wellbeing. It prepares us for future challenges like population growth and infrastructure demands. And overall, an active strategy keeps us accountable, focused and ready for what's ahead. So everyone, let's get moving any way we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Good summary. Mr Mason touched on it in his introduction about the feedback. So, you know, over that 21 days that it was out for feedback, we got 36 responses. They did influence the final version of this strategy. There was some good, robust conversation in the room around this one. So 4 key strategic pillars: inclusive participation and activation, welcoming places and infrastructure, partnerships and collaboration, capability and leadership. So all, you know, very key strategic pillars that we can really focus on and continue to deliver, you know, active spaces in our community. So, yeah, happy to endorse this one.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Jelly.
Yes, as has been said, we're a growing city, so it's important to keep abreast of the needs of our community to ensure that we can have access to sporting facilities to encourage a healthy and active lifestyle. So keeping tabs on what the needs are, what's being used, what's not being used, what needs updating is really important. So happy to endorse this strategy.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Arnott, do you wish to add anything to
I
close?
think everything's been said very clearly. Thank you, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.5, the tree management framework. Mr Mason.
Thank you. The tree management framework includes the urban forest strategy, the tree management policy and guidelines. So together these 3 documents provide the strategic basis for the management of existing trees and efforts to improve or increase tree canopy across the city. It's recommended that council adopt the framework and support an initial canopy target of 15%.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? All right, do we have a mover? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, I'll move it, Mayor. Happy to move that the council adopts the tree management framework, including the Warrnambool Urban Forest Strategy 2025, the Tree Management Policy 2025 and the Tree Management Guidelines 2025, and supports the 15% canopy target by 2050 through appropriate budget and resource allocation.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor. My only criticism of this particular motion is that I'd have gone for double the 15% canopy target. As you well know, I'm a frantic gardener, but the point is this is an essential framework, and trees and in fact all the vegetation around Warrnambool is incredibly important. It's the most efficient, and every primary school child will tell you that plants absorb carbon dioxide and give us oxygen, and that to me is the critical point. We've got to promote a canopy of all vegetation, and anything that goes towards that I'll support.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. So this tree management framework, it is going to guide new street planning species and themes. There will be a consistency in tree management across the council and facilitate the removal and replacement of undesirable species, and wishing to retain healthy individual trees of local amenity and aesthetic value. And this is all really wonderful, but we also have to be realistic here. Currently, our canopy cover sits at only 9.4%, right? So for us, well, that's well below the long-term target of 30%. Now, I think we've put in a a percentage there of a 15% target. Now, to even achieve that target, we're going to have financial submissions each year within the budget, which is still going to require a decent effort on council's behalf to try to reach that 15%. So I'm a little bit pragmatic, I suppose, so I'm aiming to achieve the 15% and happy to support the motion. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Jelly.
Yes, agree with councillor Arnott. We're 9.4, 15% I think is a sensible, manageable target that we can really work towards. Growing the canopy, whether it's trees, shrubs, whatever it is, we need to, and this will cover this, is planning when and where the trees are planted, what species are in the right place, because otherwise they'll fail if they're not planted appropriately, and planted appropriately so they're not, going to be incumbent on buildings in time to come and people will then complain about. So there's a lot of thought has to go into this, the appropriateness and the siting, so I'm happy to support the proposed 15%.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? And I'd just like to add that we need to have a target. That is the important part, and 15%, I would hope would be very achievable by 2050.
Yeah.
And there's nothing stopping, if we hit that 15% canopy cover, you can always continue to grow on that. It's not set in stone that that's what we're looking at across the city. Councillor Ziegler, do you wish to add anything to close?
Just a couple of points, Mayor. It's well to note that the long-term target of 30%, which was noted in the Warrnambool 2040 plan, is still a little more than the 15% that this strategy points out. But while I'm very keen about planting and increasing our canopy, I think it's very wise and sensible to have a management strategy, and a good management strategy which helps to answer the issues that our residents bring up is very important. So it's a very realistic motion.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll move on now to item 7.6, the S6 Instrument of Delegation. Council to members of staff. Mr Mason.
Mayor, the Instrument of Delegation legally transfers powers and functions from council to council staff to allow the day-to-day functioning and running of the council to occur. This instrument has been reviewed, and as it is every year, with a number of updates recommended, although I would note that most of the updates are fairly minor in nature. So a five-part recommendation before you, effectively to adopt the instrument.
Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to move the recommendation as noted.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Edis. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Save the minute taker for having to, by reading out all five of those recommendations, but it's our job to enable the council to function. This is the tool in which is used to give staff the delegation to undertake their day-to-day role. So no issues in recommending this one be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Edis, did you want to add anything?
No, Mayor, Councillor Walsh put that very eloquently.
Any other councillor wish to speak? We'll now put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.7, the quarterly financial report, quarter 1, September 2025. Mr Mason.
Mayor, this is part of our usual cyclical reporting. The period covers between July and September. The report shows a favourable result to budget for this period, noting it is the first quarter.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Arnott.
Thank you. I'd like to move that the July to September 2025 quarterly financial report be received.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. Councillor Arnott.
Thank you, Mayor. The September quarterly financial report shows a small favourable net budget result for the year to date of $297,000. That's predominantly reflected in recurrent operations. However, there has been some higher than anticipated costs that have gone over budget. Superannuation of $297,000, a work cover of $410,000 and a property insurance of $140,000. There has been higher than anticipated employee on costs, including that superannuation variance, as well as $40,000 in work cover claims. Learning and development expenses are also $89,000 above budget, which is mainly due to the timing of the activities and the budget phasing. I need to express my strong displeasure regarding the superannuation expenditure being $297,000 over budget. This situation undermines confidence in our budgeting practices and raises concerns about what other areas may not be monitored effectively. The superannuation overspend of $290,000 is unacceptable, and we now have no choice but to find that money elsewhere in the organisation. And somehow that money has to be found by trimming some costs. However, I will say that our Chief Financial Officer, she being new to the position, has actually uncovered this oversight, which is a good thing, that it's not been allowed accumulate throughout the year. So I commend her on that, and I have been assured by the appropriate people and our CEO that this will not happen again. But I do like to put down on record that I am displeased about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Just echoing the comments of Councillor Arnott, there's definitely some disappointment in the way that things are sitting at the end of quarter one. Some good, robust conversation around some strategies to ensure that that doesn't continue. So I'm sitting back and I'm eagerly awaiting the quarter two report to make sure that the steps that have been uncovered by, as you touched on, the financial services people, can really start to get us back on track. So good that it's found early. That gives us an opportunity to reel it in and make sure we're back on track and things can progress in the way that we set out when we develop the budget. So.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Councillor Walsh. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Arnott, do you wish to add anything to close?
No, just echoing Councillor Walsh that we hope now that things have been put in place to rectify this situation, and hopefully that has occurred. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.8, the establishment of a delegated committee to oversee aged care services. Mr Mason.
Thank you. Mayor, this is a reasonably complex issue. As a result of legislative changes, the Aged Care Act requires that a governing body, which in this case is the same as the council, is responsible for the delivery of aged care services. Because this council provides aged care services and receives funding from the federal government, it's recommended that council establish a delegated committee comprising staff and 2 councillors. The committee will provide oversight of the aged care services and will then report back on a regular basis to the whole of council. The recommendation to establish the delegated committee is set out on page 37 and covers across 11 11 points in the recommendation. So the recommendation is before you.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions?
Just one from me, Mr Mayor. Just on point 5 of the recommendation, there's just a small little spelling mistake there. That just, maybe that
Yes,
might
I-
just need to be,
That's you.
yeah, maybe rectified.
Yes, we
Yep.
will rectify, once whoever moves it,
Yep.
we will rectify it then.
Yep.
Um,
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
So, no worries, councillor Walsh. All right, do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I wish to move the recommendation as noted, excluding point number 5, which will require correction to the
Yep.
name of the person noted in there, which is myself.
Yep, no, that makes
Yep.
sense, yep. So moving the recommendation,
Yep.
and you want it amended to have your name spelled
Yes,
correctly.
thank you,
Yep.
Mr Mayor. That is correct.
Yep, thank you, councillor Walsh. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As Mr Mason stated, the new Aged Care Act 2024 requires the governing body to be stood up. This is a good thing. Obviously, everyone in the community is aware of some of the situations that have transpired within aged care over some years. This really makes aged care everybody's responsibility, which I think is a good thing. Council does aged care well. We will continue to do it well. This governing body provides us an opportunity to, oversee that and make sure that we're, fingers on the pulse in terms of what's happening within our services. So it's only a good thing. Yes, I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Thank you, councillor Walsh. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor. Oversight of the aged care services, as Councillor Walsh has mentioned, is very important. Council does aged care services really very well, and I'm pleased to say that we've budgeted to maintain the services, whereas so many councils have dropped them. And this is very much a feather in our cap that we're able to keep it on, because it's looking after the weakest in our community, the most vulnerable in our community, that is so important.
Thank you, councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Oh, councillor Arnott.
Yes, thank you. Look, I'll endorse what Councillor Walsh and Councillor Ziegler have already reiterated. I just want to, I suppose, endorse that this role on this governing body, it's a very responsible role, and it comes with a lot of responsibility. We are overseeing, or whoever's that committee, they are overseeing some of the most vulnerable in the community. So just want to reiterate, the role does carry a lot of responsibility. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? And I'd just like to add too, councillor Ziegler touched on it. This is a really important service to our city, and we reaffirmed our commitment to aged care, I think it was 2 years ago now, and on the back of the new federal government, on the back of the new federal government legislation, that's why we need to have this governing body to really be overseeing what we're doing. And as a council, non-for-profit, we're a level of government. We do aged care very, very well. And that's why we want that service there across our municipality for everyone that actually lives here. And I look forward to seeing the work that Councillor Walsh and Councillor Ziegler will do on this committee. Councillor Walsh, do you wish to add anything to close?
Nothing further, thanks, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.9, the appointment to advisory committees and external bodies. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. Every year the council's required to review the appointment of councillors to various committees and organisations. This matter has been workshopped with the councillor group, and the recommendation before you reflects the preferences of councillors. So recommendation is on page 43, includes the table attached to the recommendation. So recommendation there.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the following council representatives and delegates to the advisory committees and external committees for the period of 1st December 2025 to 7 December 2026 be approved, and that relevant advisory committees and external bodies be advised accordingly.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. Councillor Edis.
Thank you. Mayor, I don't believe there's any changes to the advisory, the council representatives to the advisory bodies from the previous 12 months, which I think is a good thing because it provides a bit of consistency and continuity to the organisations that we've been dealing with. So happy to endorse this.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Councillor Walsh.
Not much from me, just endorsing and echoing the words of Councillor Edis, the consistency and the continuity with the same representatives, I think, really holds some weight in terms of these bodies and external committees. So happy to endorse.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Any other councillor wish to speak? I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who actually, all of the independents who are on all of these committees, because, you know, it's time out of their day, especially the Planning Advisory Group. All of them, it's really important. It's really important to get their feedback, and it's really great to see people giving up their time to actually, you know, have a listen in to council. So, yeah, Councillor Edis, do you wish to add anything to close?
No, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.10. Yes, 7.10. The scheduled council meeting dates 2026. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. Council is required under governance rules to set council meeting dates and times after the annual meeting. It's recommended that council continue to hold its meetings on the first Monday of the month, with the exception of a Tuesday after Easter. We have also made a recommendation that you change your meeting time to 4 p.m. This is done on the basis that we have been seeing relatively low gallery numbers, and the fact that council meetings are now recorded and live streamed, holding meetings at 5:45 seems no longer necessary. So a recommendation before you on page 46.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Were there any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to move the recommendation as noted.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Not much to say on this one that Mr Mason hasn't covered already. Obviously, the major change here is the 4 p.m. As opposed to 5:45, which, as Mr Mason said, the gallery numbers have not been huge in the last 12 months, to say the least. Not sure what our live stream numbers are. I'm sure they're pretty high. So I think if we maintain that live stream access, as well as 4 o'clock is not really inaccessible for most people if they do want to attend. So I think it strikes a good balance.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Arnott, do you wish to add anything else?
I don't think so. I think everything's been said. Thank you.
Any other councillor wish to speak? Or Councillor Jelly?
Yeah, sorry, just saying the 4 o'clock time change. Other municipalities, our neighbours, meet at 2 o'clock. So we've been the one that, for many years, lives have changed. You know, the live streaming has brought in accessibility for so many other people. So I think 4 o'clock's okay.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Edis.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just reiterate the comments, but also note that, gallery numbers are dwindling, but when there are contentious issues that require a gallery, I'm sure the community will turn up, whether it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or midnight, they will come to have their say. And the other thing it's not a factor in our decision, but it is nice to be able to let our long-suffering directors and managers sort of get home to their families a bit earlier after a meeting as well. So.
Thank you, Councillor Edis. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Walsh, do you wish to add anything to close?
No, thanks, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.11, the Audit and Risk Committee Biannual Report, January to June 2025. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. I really can't add much more. The audit chair came in and spoke to councillors about this report, and it's part of our regular biannual reporting from the Audit and Risk Committee. So recommendation is that you received a report that covers the period January to June 2025. So recommendation.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Do we have any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'll move that the council receives the Audit and Risk Biannual Report of Activities, January to June 2025.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. Councillor Ziegler.
No comment to make. It's just a reception of the report.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Walsh.
Just one thing, obviously representative with you, Mr Mayor, on the Audit and Risk Committee. Important role in terms of the operations of the council. Good report to receive, as was touched on. The chair did attend our last briefing. The committee is working really well. We've got some great representatives, independent representatives on that committee, which I think add real value to the meetings of that committee. So, yeah, happy to receive the report.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Any other councillor wish to speak? And I'd just like to add a big thank you to our chair, Kevin Ledden, and Richard and Wilson, our other independent members, for all the work they do on the committee. It's the committee which gets you probably closest to the operations of council. So it's been good. Councillor Ziegler, do you wish to add anything to close?
Thank you, no, Mayor.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.12, the Sport and Recreation Victoria 2025-2026 Local Sport and Infrastructure Fund. Mr Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. Council's been working for some time with the South Warrnambool Football Netball Club on the redevelopment of the oval at the Friendlies Society. Council was unfortunately not successful in getting a grant for $1 million from the state government last financial year. This financial year, sorry. We've been invited to apply for a grant under the 25-26 funding program, but unfortunately the maximum grant on offer has decreased from $1 million to $500,000. Following this, we've had further discussions with the Football Netball Club. They've offered to increase their financial commitment to the project to $200,000 cash. If council was successful in securing a grant of $500,000, the project would be short approximately $350,000. It's therefore recommended that to keep this project going, that council apply for the $500,000 under the Local Sport and Infrastructure Fund, and to effectively pre-allocate a budget commitment for the $350,000 shortfall in the 26-27 budget. The expenditure and progress of this project would be reliant on state government funding coming through. Recommendation across 3 points.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Jelly.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move the officer's recommendation as noted there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Arnott. Councillor Jelly.
Thank you. As CEO has explained the main details of this item tonight, I think it's important to make a commitment to finish the oval redevelopment project at the Friendly Societies Park. Great we've been invited to apply for the new grant. Disappointing we missed out on the other one, but look, that's what happens sometimes. Our staff work diligently to look for funds to help us put these projects together. I congratulate South Warrnambool Football Netball Club on committing to contribute $200,000 in cash and about $43,000 in kind towards the project. It's fantastic to see a great club rolling up their sleeves and make this happen. Doesn't always happen, especially when the club do all their own fundraising and have sponsors and supporters, but not relying on dollars from gaming machines.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Sorry, I didn't cut you off, Councillor Jelly.
No, all good.
No, thank you, Councillor Arnott.
Thank you. Yes, I too feel it's important that this project continues. If we stop the project now and saying because we can't afford it, we're not going to be in any better position in years to come. So I think it's important that we push forward we apply for that 500,000, and we do allocate in the budget, the 26-27 budget, that 350,000 K, which is probably going to mean some other projects could be pushed back. But I think this project is significant that it has to be finished. I too do commend the South Warrnambool Football Netball Club for finding that $200,000 in cash. That's a mammoth effort there, to be congratulated for that. And then also offering $43,500 in kind towards the project, which could be physical work, a removal of debris, whatever. They are to be commended for that. So, yes, I do support the recommendation in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arnott. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, the Friendly Societies has many aspects which appear tired and require refurbishment. It needs a freshen up. We said similar things when Reed Oval was being put up as a target for revitalisation. Friendlies is in the same boat. It's one of the premier ovals and sports grounds in the region. It's used by many social groups, the dog breeders and firemen and all the rest of it. And it just deserves to be one of the assets that we look after and bring up to scratch.
Thank you, Councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? No further speakers. Councillor Jelly, do you wish anything to close?
No, I think just it's something good to apply for the other funding, see how we go there and support the finalisation of this.
With no further speakers, we'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, that's passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.13, Middle Island Project 2024-2025.
Mayor, this is just the Middle Island Project annual report. It's part of our regular reporting cycle, so the season's report there is there for council to accept.
Thank you, Mr Mason. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Jelly.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendation that council accept the Middle Island Project 2024-2025 season report.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ziegler. Councillor Jelly.
Thank you. Interesting report to get. We get this each year, and there's summary of what goes on over there. No evidence of foxes through this breeding season. Interest of project continues with 906 individuals participating in Penguin Protectors Warrnambool education experience and up at Flagstaff Hill in the last 12 months. Great support from local businesses by sponsoring and donating to the project continues. Interest from schools and on social media. Difficulty access to Middle Island due to environmental factors getting over there, which has been hard, and the Marima guard dogs are ageing and they have health concerns, but report on them, they're being well looked after, and so a great report to get from all those interested in that Middle Island project.
Thank you, Councillor Jelly. Councillor Ziegler.
Yes, the Middle Island project is well known internationally. It's good to receive the report just so that we can keep a finger on what's going on there. It's I'm impressed by the fact that the Marima experiment is known as the Warrnambool method around the world to many other bodies, and the fact that Warner Brothers showed interest throughout the year in having the Marima guardian dogs as part of their Working Dogs TV program. So it's good to just keep a close weather eye on what's going on in Middle Island. It's something that's a very important asset to our region.
Thank you, councillor Ziegler. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Jelly, you don't wish to add anything to close?
No.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.14, the informal meeting of council reports. The minutes are there from the two meetings. Do we have a mover? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to move the officer's recommendation as noted.
Thank you, councillor Walsh. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Edis. Do you wish to speak, councillor Walsh?
Yes, Mayor.
And councillor Edis?
No.
We'll now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. We'll now move on to item 7.15, the Mayoral and Chief Executive Officer Activity Summary Report. The report's in front of you. Any questions? Do we have a mover? Councillor Arnott.
I'd like to move the officer's recommendation, thank you.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Walsh. Does anyone wish to speak on the item? We'll now put the motion to a vote. All those in favour, passed unanimously. Move on to item 8, the notices of motion. Mr Mason.
No notices of motion tonight.
Item 9, general business. Did anyone have any general business items they wanted to raise this evening? Nope. We'll move on to item 10, urgent business.
No.
And just before we get a mover and a seconder for suspending standing orders, I'd like to wish everyone a really Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Have a safe time, watch out in our roads, what's left of them, and we'll see you all back here in February. Can we have a mover to suspend standing orders? Councillor Arnott, do we have a seconder? Councillor Jelly, all those in favour, passed unanimously. Thanks, Katrina.